Genesis and Genesis. Question is there a difference?
Yes, orange, green.
Fuck me. Welcome you legends and heliheads, you choppers and stick bangers, twizzle whizzlers, swipey wipies and everyone else. Welcome to this quick video where we're going to have a natter. Let's have a natter. Grab hold of a coffee and we're going to have a chat here with Uncle Bob about these two beauties. These two, as you can see, are the two Genesises. Is it Genesises or Genesi?
Who knows?
I think it's just,
Genesis.
according to my daughter, Genesis. Yes. Look, right up front, here's the thing. I don't think this one is an upgrade to this one. I personally think. What do you think?
No, I think it is, but only a small upgrade.
Biggest difference between the two, and to be clear, this is not a should you buy it video, because both of these are at one time, so this was the last generation, and they're a Genesis beforehand, but you know, the more latest generations, these are flagship models from SAB. These are the best ones that you can really, arguably, let's say, before we start a YouTube war, arguably the best models that you can get from SAB, all encompassing of different types of flying. This one is mine, this is Eve of course, and this one has recently been purchased by Bob. They are 700 size, well actually no they're not, are they?
747.
747, so in between a 7 and 800. I mentioned that they're both flagship models really because these aren't the sort of models that you go out and buy on a whim, right? These are flown by fairly sort of experienced pilots.
More like people with more money than sense.
You wouldn't go out and buy one of these as your first 700. It's as simple as that, would you? There are some differences between the two models. This Genesis is significantly thicker than this one, right?
Fatter, yeah.
Well, we know you're fatter. It commands presence in the sky, whereas this one is sort of a queen of the sky and does ballet.
Bigger, not thicker.
Bigger, thicker, fatter. I mean, look at it. I mean, how many pizzas does that add?
It's like you and me then, isn't it?
Well, I didn't want to say anything.
This one's perfectly built and you're skinny rake.
It is significantly wider though. There's no question about that. The new Genesis is wider. Of course, it's in the orange colour scheme. Do they do other colour schemes, Bob?
Not at the moment.
Do you think they will?
Doubt it.
We also noticed as well that there's a bit of a difference in rake by a couple of degrees, I think.
Yes, but that can be altered by spacers at the back, so...
Spacers at the back underneath the landing gear, between the landing gear and the frame, right?
Yeah,
to alter that sort of rake.
I've put spacers in on this one. I don't know whether yours has got them in.
No, it hasn't. What other differences really are there? Same blade size, right? What about the head, Bob?
Well, this one's built on the IL Goblin mechanics, and that one's built on the Kraken mechanics, or the old Raw mechanics. Okay. So this has got a 15mm main shaft, same as the IL. The head's not much difference. It's just designed for 15mm instead of a 13mm shaft. Yeah. So basically, the geometry of the head is exactly the same. Yeah. And both heads are SAB's high precision system, right? Yes.
Could you take this two-bladed head off here and fit a three-bladed head? You
could if you bought a three-bladed for a 13mm shaft, yes.
If you're in the UK, there is actually a three-bladed head that's been sitting with Raj at AT models for some significant time now. You can see the link up there. And I think that's going for a fairly sort of decent price. So if you're out for a 700 three-bladed head, why don't you treat yourself and go on and buy it? But I could, if I wanted to, go out buy that and put that on Eve. And you could also do, but you couldn't do the same on here, is that right?
No, I could, because the IL Goblin KSE is a 15mm main shaft, exactly the same. Right,
okay, cool. Now, electronics, I think, is almost sort of irrelevant. I'm running here a fairly sort of budget system. ESC is a 130 amp, motor is a good old Align 540 kV and some Savox servos. I'm running the Neo fly barless system and a separate receiver for Taba. And I'm running 12 cell on here, 5,000 milliamps, and I get about 4 minutes worth of flying. And you can see a couple of videos of me flying Eve up there. And the one thing I will say before I hand over to you, Bob, is that no machine that I've got, or probably will do, flies like a Genesis. I don't know what it is, I don't know how they do it, but these fly significantly different. I think it's probably the fuselage or the way in which it's built or whatever, because as Bob says, the mechanics with both generations are sort of plucked from other machines, but these fly something different to other machines. Those of you who've got them or been flying for a while, you'll know that. But for those of you who are just broaching this sort of area, you know, be aware of that. They fly completely differently. You will know you would have flown a Genesis. What have you got in yours, Bob, and what's your overall thoughts of it?
Well, it's got a Scorpion 5024 motor, Hobbywing 260 amp speed controller, Futaba servos, Futaba flyballer system.
260. How is it that I can fly on a 130 amp ESC, but you've got a 260 amp ESC? In general terms, why is it yours is double the size?
Because I'm just one of them that believes in putting the biggest in you can get.
You have a massive erection.
Put the biggest in that you can get.
I tend to go for larger ESCs. You're tight arse.
On a serious note, though, you know, some of you out there will not know as to why you should have a bigger ESC and whatever. And ultimately, I suppose it comes down to the style of flying.
Yes, you're never gonna pull what a 260 amp is capable of giving.
What's the maximum you've pulled from it?
On the last flight was what was it?
240, I think it was 240, yeah. Whereas I fly with the 130 amp, and I'm fairly confident, apart from a burst, I think the 130 amp bursts up to 160.
No, 180.
180. So there is no way on this earth that my style of flying that I've gone beyond the 180, which is what the 130 can handle in a burst in a short period of time. And ultimately, I will point you to this video up there. And that fella up there, Albatross, flies on a 130 amp ESC on that flight. So look, unless you are really flying a lot quicker and putting in more pitch in than he is, you probably don't need to worry about anything bigger than a 130 amp. Slightly controversial statement, but in general terms.
Yes, but I am flying a lot more powerful motor than you are, so
yeah, true.
That's probably where I'm getting. But even with this motor, I don't need the. I mean, a 180, the new 180 would have been more than enough. Yeah, yeah. And generally flying the Genesis, what's your overall thoughts on flying the new Genesis compared to the old one? Because you did have an old one, didn't you? Yes. The new one seems to fly, it feels lighter in the air. Seems a little bit more agile to me, but I have heard some people prefer the old one.
Yeah.
But it's horses for courses, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But both of them fly so well, I'd be happy with either of them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I do like this one.
Like I said, I swear by this Genesis, and I said, you know, it's something magical to fly this. It genuinely is. Apart from it being a flagship, it's the way it flies. I'm not sure the reasons why. I've mentioned that before, but the point is that this commands presence in the sky. It's a big 700, and that's a nice segue to talk about the previous Maverick model from SAB, which they coined as their sort of flagship, purely and simply because it was the bigger Genesis type models, the SAB Maverick. It was an 800 size, and this year or this generation they've recreated the Maverick.
No, they brought out a Maverick Sport last year, which was the Maverick in an orange colour so people could actually see it in the sky. A
Maverick in an orange colour, but actually, and here's the real kick in the balls, it was a Genesis. If you look at a Maverick, a Sport Maverick, it's an 800 size helicopter, and it's essentially this with an extended boom out by 10 centimetres and orange.
It's not even 10 centimetres.
Not even 10 centimetres, so it's orange. So if you had one of these and you really want a Maverick, well, you'd be mad if you went out and bought one, unless you're setting up some sort of SAB museum. There's really no need, I don't think.
No.
But if you did want one, then as you would expect me to do, to champion those UK shops in the UK, then you can get one from Midland Helicopters. There you go. There's a link up there. So go buy yourself an SAB Maverick, Sport Maverick. I think they're only the cost of a small country in Africa. But I think the key thing I wanted to mention about the Maverick is the Maverick of the last generation was around themed of the what was it called now, the Raptor Dome, Rotor Dome.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
There's a theme.
You put it on the video.
It had little missiles and stuff. Yeah, I'll put a sort of clip it up there. But it had missiles on it and guns and all sorts of stuff, right? You had that on yours, didn't you? You flew around like that and you made noises and stuff, didn't you?
No, I never
Apart
bothered
from coughing your arse up, you made little bang bang noises.
I never put the missiles on mine.
Yeah. The last generation, apart from its colour scheme, which a lot of people mentioned was very difficult to see, even SAB pilots told me at Helifest, you know, it's a lovely helicopter, but you're not going to be able to see it. That was your biggest point of it, wasn't it? That you couldn't really see it.
You had to have a very nice bright day.
Yeah, nice bright day. Now they've got rid of the missiles and the rocket pods. They've turned it orange and white, and they've called that the Sport Maverick for this new generation, which is essentially an extended one of these. It's not even. I mean, you would have expected, would you not, for it to look like that? Really?
Yeah.
An 800 version of that.
Well, no, because they brought it out before the new IL series came out.
And to be clear, the difference in the mechanics in that to this is that that's based off the IL series, right? And this is based off the Kraken. So there you go. But look, here's the thing. Both these machines are wonderful machines. If you did want one, then you'd be very happy with it. I mean, they are fantastic flying machines, aren't they?
Yes.
I think there's a baby one of this, 420, I think. 420. Right, I think that's all you need to hear, really. Two Genesises. Which one do you prefer? The green one or the orange one? Whichever one you choose, whichever one you are lucky enough to buy, you will love flying them. They are not the same as any other helicopter you've got. I will put my balls out there by saying that. They fly differently.
But they'll do everything.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
More than I'm capable of, anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, we know that.
Oh yeah, anything will fly more than I'm capable of.
Indeed. Right, thank you very much, legends. Remember, it's all about the journey, so bloody well enjoy it. It's coming up for summer, you know, or the end of spring, isn't it? It's the end of spring?
End of spring. Spring,
summer, beautiful weather. Get out there and enjoy it. Till the next video, take care now. Bye-bye. Yeah, I really like it.